Ahoy! This is Harry Hansen reminding you to like and subscribe to the show on YouTube by going to youtube.com at the Lager Room 5111 and clicking subscribe. Or just go to youtube.com and search for the Lager Room. Either way, it's as easy as falling off a log. Thanks a bundle.
Jimmy Jungle, well, true to a dribble. But now you're going to slobber and you're crying in the middle of a topic. Benihana. Hatchy, hooky, boogie, mozzarella, itchy poo. Reading around the collar, heavy petting up the soup. You're eating for lasagna on Wonder Woman with Madonna. Baklava.
Hi, everybody. Welcome out to the Get On With It Sports Show. It is Wednesday, June the 25th, 2025. Jersey Johnny coming at you. With me, as always, none other Mr. RadioPeteM and Mr. Harry Lugnut. Say hello, gentlemen.
Howdy.
Hi, everybody.
Baklava, indeed.
Baklava, indeed. Was it just me, or was that a little
Garbled?
garbled?
Yes. We're off to a good start. The first thing we'll talk about is our technical issues.
Well, you know what? If we
let's
own them,
just move on.
If we own them, we're good.
Yeah.
If we own them, we're good. So
Yeah.
That's a lot of ownership.
it's like we meant to do it. Like, no, here, let's try this again. Ready? Was it just me, or was it garbled? It was garbled. Good. All right.
Yeah.
That's what we
Yeah.
wanted. All right.
Somehow we make Wayne's World seem professional.
Alternate
Well, it was.
version
I mean,
of our theme. Yeah.
We are getting Rob Lowe next week on the show. So.
That's too bad.
It's not costing much either.
No. So, and Dana Carvey's coming on. So that's a whole other thing.
Not the actual Rob Lowe and Dana Carvey that you're thinking of, but just
No, two different people.
No.
They just happen to be named
Two
Rob
people.
Lowe and Dana. It's
That's right.
ROBLOW.
Sure.
Although,
And
you know
it's,
what? I bet we could probably get. It just seems to me like more and more so anybody who's, in whatever level of fame. Well, not obviously the big top dogs, but anybody who was once super famous and is now not.
I want to know what the hell that was.
We'll do anything for a buck now. That was awesome.
Oh, please. Thank you. You can't write this. You can't write this.
Probably the audience did not hear that, but we heard it.
That's awesome.
Sorry, folks, you missed something funny. But yeah, we can get. I think we can get it. I mean, everybody's a sellout now, right? I was having a discussion with somebody the other day, and then they were like, "Oh, you know what? Why shouldn't they just do whatever? They need money. They can make a lot of money. They can retire early. Like, why shouldn't they be able to do that?" And I'm like, "You're right. They should be able to do that." But I also should. They are. But I also am able to go. Yeah, you're a sellout. You have no integrity because you're doing terrible commercials for horrible large corporations who destroy the world and don't treat people very nice. And if you're okay with that, that's great.
Where do you see commercials? Are you still watching network television? What?
Well, yeah. Well, I'm streaming it, sure.
Yeah, that's
sometimes
the problem.
There's occasionally a few ads on the internet. But I had this whole discussion about, people that I admire, and to see them sort of, it's just disappointing to me. I still feel that way.
Yeah, there's a lot of I want to say character actors. There's a lot of big names that you wouldn't think would do stuff like that. But hey, you know what? And I find have you seen the Homes.com ads? Right? Yeah. Now Dan Levy and the one girl, I forget her name, from SNL, the one of them or whatever. The two of them, they do all of the commercials, right? But lately they've had a couple of commercials with Morgan Freeman. He's in them now with them. So hey, if the money's right, Anybody's making the money. Anybody's doing it.
I mean, I can't imagine Morgan Freeman needs any.
It's not like he's selling snake oil. It's a residential website.
Right.
Residential rental.
But I mean, when I see
website,
like Pete Davidson doing a commercial for Verizon, and a really bad commercial too.
At that,
like just towing the company line, and Pete Davidson's like, dude, you're part of your fame is that you're not that guy, and now you are. And I don't begrudge anybody making any money. I mean, I guess technically I do.
But we're going to spend 6 minutes bitching about it.
But I'm going to spend some time bitching about it. Also, my central air went out the other day, so I got a window unit in, and that's really why I'm cranky. I love Pete Davidson to this very day.
Yeah.
But damn it, it's hot in here.
I was gonna say the fact that the ad is bad just means that Pete Davidson's just being consistent.
Well, yeah, that's true.
That's true.
He's the poor man's Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
All right. So enough of my complaints about sellouts and broken compressors.
Exactly.
Let's get to our favorite part of the show, shall we?
Let's get to the favorite part. Yes.
Yes, indeed. Meme of the week.
Meme of the week.
Johnny, you take this one. I don't know if you sent me this one or not, but it's pretty self-explanatory.
If it's self-explanatory,
yeah. There's nothing. Well, not like you really need to dig deep to figure out what a meme is about.
Exactly. Hopefully. Well, if that's the case, if it's a thinker, there's an issue.
Well, yeah. Right? If you look at it and you go, if that's a woodchuck, it means one thing. If it's a groundhog, something different.
Else. Yeah.
And somebody was working too hard to create the meme. So Here it is, meme of the week.
There you go. So we got left turn only, turn right only, turn left only, stop, one way, both directions.
Yeah. So, and I like.
In other words, it's just a regular intersection.
Yeah.
What I like is that extra sign that it looks maybe photoshopped in is actually in the street.
Yeah, it's in the street. Yeah, I think this might have been altered.
This looks like a really horribly done
like some sixth
there's a little
first attempt at
Piranesi-esque perspective problems going on with
what I'm looking at is here's what I'm looking at, right? So the one sign that's probably the one that's actually there, right? It's 2 posts, right? And then it's stop with the one, right? And then the one before it looks photoshopped, but it looks like it's on a flagpole in the ground.
Yeah, the other one does too. Like it's got like a coupling. Maybe it's like a pool cube, where you screw it together in the middle.
Right. And it's sitting in a snowbank in the middle of the street.
Yeah. And it's wrinkled. It looks wrinkled too. So.
Yeah. All right, guys. Wrinkled. We just have to up our background checks on these memes. Right?
It's funny.
I think I have a little bit of an explanation.
It's fake memes. Fake memes.
Well, we got this actually from our sponsor because we've been looking for a sponsor.
FakeMemes.com.
Meme of the week. And so I think when you see the sponsors, you might understand what the meme's all about. So meme of the week this week brought to you by Poorly Made Memes. We do memes so bad. Are you? And it's either in Alberta, Canada, or maybe Mexico.
Or Alberta, Mexico.
If there is such a place. It's behind Bob's house on Kenosha Street. And you can see some
17B, hut.
Yeah. You know how those foreign addresses are, right? We have 5 numbers, and they're like AL60,
Explains so much.
Yeah. There you go.
We do memes so bad. Are you?
Yeah.
I like that.
That's
perfect. All right. There you
go.
Meme of the week. There you go. All right. So, where do we want to start, gents? Where do we want to start? So I'm going to get the.
I don't know. I think we just had a champion crowned in 2 sports, so maybe we should start with one of those.
Yeah.
I don't even want to talk about one of them. So I don't even.
Well, let's talk about basketball then.
You knew what I was saying.
See, I would go the other way with that. I would.
Well, I'm trying to get viewers, and basketball is more popular than the communist sport of hockey.
There you go.
Well, we don't have to talk as much about hockey.
No,
let's talk about basketball.
I also don't know anything about hockey.
Well, we could just say congratulations with
yes,
or not
I mean, it looked. I'll tell you what, the victory parade in the sand on the beach with half naked people. I mean, they know how to do it. They know how to have a victory party in Miami. So but yeah, we have a new NBA champion, the 7th different NBA champion in the last 7 years.
Yep.
So there you go. I mean, kind of a little bit of a unfortunate ending in the fact that the last half of the series of the last game, or the last half of the last game 7 of the series, the Pacers played without arguably their best player. And I think it just made it feel, I think I was saying this a little bit, maybe in a text dialogue that we had going on. I sort of felt like something was happening where this was trying to be a kind of coming out party for Tyrese Halliburton. And again, pushing a player with an injury in the finals. Does it sound familiar?
Well, what was his injury? No, I know what happened, but what was his injury that he was being pushed to play through?
The calf injury.
It was a calf injury, right?
Yeah.
And what happens if you push a player with a calf injury?
Tears his ACL.
Achilles.
I mean, this is Kevin Durant all over again.
Yeah.
Well, listen, didn't Jason Tatum hurt his Achilles in the playoffs?
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's somebody else who hurt, another big name who hurt his.
Well, yeah. Lillard early before the playoffs.
Lillard, yeah.
And then also, yeah.
That's at least 3 or 4.
You can't rush back from a calf injury,
right?
Because it's a good possibility that you could have an Achilles injury.
Indiana up by 1 at halftime on the road. Look, I picked OKC in 6. I felt like they were the better team, but I really do think that I think if Halliburton played in that second half, a healthy Halliburton played in that second half, I think we might have seen one of the bigger upsets in an NBA Finals. And Indiana was just, they ran out of steam and they just didn't have, not having, it would be like OKC trying to play a half without SGA.
It would be like Boston trying to play without
Jason Tatum.
Yeah. I mean, it was disappointing, obviously, and it was inspiring, I think, to see the way
it would be like
Indiana
Tom trying to play without Jerry.
Closed out the first half, but you sort of, I mean, even as much as, and I did pick Indiana to win in 7, but even as much as I was pulling for them, you have to have that feeling like, well, they can't do this for another 24 minutes. They can't hang for another 24 minutes.
Look, I'll tell you this. These were without a doubt the 2 best defensive teams in the NBA this year. And Indiana, I think, turned it on in the playoffs to a degree that it wasn't as obvious, I think, in the Knicks series, but they really clamped down on OKC in the games where, in those the 2 previous games. And I thought that the size of OKC and their ability to play defense the way they did against the teams that they got through would be the differentiator. I thought the double big man, and look, I said for OKC to win, Holmgren and Caruso need to show up, and they did. And Holmgren even more so on the defensive end. And it was a difference maker. And some of the guys on Indiana that were really playing well didn't necessarily have the game 7 that I think Indiana needed. No. And that was the difference. Now, what this does, I mean, congratulations to OKC. It just felt, it didn't feel all that exciting. It just felt like it was a little bit of a letdown, much like I think the last game of the NHL did as well. It just didn't have that kind of last minute tension that you thought we would have.
Yeah, it wasn't a war till the end.
No.
And we had 6.5 games,
right,
and a little bit extra time in the second half, but not a lot, of going to battle, right?
Yeah.
And then just
I mean,
we missed out. There was no last second shot.
No.
You know, they did get it back to like what, 9, I think, at one point, or maybe to 12.
Yeah, but it didn't have the same feel. It felt
But
inevitable
it
that they weren't going to be able to do that same.
And the guy that was going to take that last shot, who had taken that last shot, getting those good bounces or not, he wasn't there.
No.
And
to OKC's credit, they found a way to really step up their defense in that second half. They created a lot of turnovers, and they had a sensational third quarter that basically put the game out of reach.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and
look, I'm not saying if Halliburton had still been there, Pacers would have won. I think they might have, but OKC could have easily won, even with Halliburton on the court as well. But yeah, we didn't get that.
We don't know. Yeah.
No, we don't know.
We'll never know. I don't think that would be the case.
We didn't get to find out what would happen. But
yeah, I don't think that'd be the case. Moving forward, though, in the NBA, here's something that I want to throw out at you guys. Look, this injury to Halliburton doesn't only obviously impact Game 7. He's out for next year. Let's be honest. He's out for next year. Jason Tatum's out for next year. The East, depending on what really pans out with free agency and trades, the East is up for grabs. Mm-hmm. And, you know, as some New York bias on this podcast, and the Knicks still don't have a coach. Mm-hmm. So,
well, this is as you can tell,
paving the way for the Knicks to possibly be. I mean, look, Cleveland probably be the favorite in the regular season, but they faltered pretty bad in the playoffs. Tell me, Indiana without Halliburton is not going to beat the Knicks as they were constructed this year. So, does this not kind of open the door for the Knicks, especially since Boston seems like, okay, we're going to run without Tatum, and we're gonna lean on Jalen, but we just got rid of Porzingis and we got rid of Drew Holiday. So what's going on there? Are they trying to get Giannis?
It opens the door.
They getting Giannis?
It opens the door for the Knicks to go to the finals next year and lose to either OKC or Minnesota,
or let's be honest,
or Denver.
Well, yeah, and look at
team
what
that
the Pacers,
brought the champs to 7 games.
Look at what the Pacers did.
Yeah.
They traded away their 2025 pick, and they got their 2026 first-round pick back. So they're not, they're looking to maintain for the next season. And then when Halliburton comes back, they're going to have I don't know what number it is, but they're going to have their first-round pick.
They'll be fine in a couple of years. And we'll see. Sometimes teams, it's a one and done type of deal. Chemistry is a weird, delicate thing in the NBA these days, as we can tell by the fact that we cannot have a repeat champion. We don't even really get them to go to the finals 2 years in a row. Here's what I think. I can't imagine the Boston Celtics sort of going, we're just going to wait for Jason Tatum to come back and we're going to take a year off and roll our cards and see. I think Giannis Antetokounmpo is going to the Boston Celtics.
They have to get somebody. Look, we talked, and everybody talked about the Celtics with Porzingis and without him, and they were much better with him. Obviously, he's a talented player, but he's hurt.
But all they were doing, what they're doing is they're getting rid of long-term contracts that they can get off the book so that they can clear space to, I think, make a signing. And I there's one free agent out there, one person. I mean, now that the Durant scenario is closed, I think Giannis is. I think the Celtics are going to make a big push for Giannis to play there, and if they can pull it off, I don't know how they pull it off, but maybe for 1 year they can.
Maybe they can.
Maybe, yeah. Or listen, we could see, maybe one of these borderline Eastern teams is going to make a deep run. Whether it's the Pelicans or
the Pelicans are in the West.
Oh, are they? Oh, yeah, that's right. Who am I thinking of?
Orlando.
Oh, maybe Orlando. Yeah, that's it. Another goddamn Florida team. Maybe somebody like that will, but they're try and fill the void at least.
Yeah,
but, it's gonna be interesting playoffs in the East next year.
Yeah, there's already been a lot of movement, and look, the East is ripe for the pickings. The West is just tighter and more competitive than ever, especially now with Durant going to the Rockets. I think they absolutely raped Phoenix for this. I mean, this is just another example of the players running the league. And I don't know. I'm not sure it automatically makes Houston, that much better than they were. I mean, they were a really good team record-wise this year. They just lost in the playoffs. I thought Durant would be much more of an impact player in Phoenix. He gets his numbers. He's the most efficient scorer, I think, in the history of the NBA. There's a couple other players. George Gervin comes to mind, maybe Alex English, but he's so efficient at getting the 25 points and 4 or 5 rebounds and 2 assists. And he brings some range, and he hasn't had much drop off in his game, but I'm not necessarily sure that it translates as much nowadays. I think depth and the ability to have a star surrounded by role players is much more of the script for success nowadays.
Quick aside, not to change the subject, Jacob deGrom has taken a no-hitter into the 8th.
Good job,
Well, you
Jacob.
just ruined it. I'm sure
All right.
someone in that dugout is watching this program right now.
Right.
So
we have
they have it tuned on the dugout cam. So, anyway, yeah, no, I think you're right. It is the norm. But getting back to the next the coaching vacancy. I mean, you could tell that this was well planned by Dolan. He knew exactly what he wanted to do, and he went out and did it. Of course, he didn't have a plan after what he wanted to do, but whatever, he got what he wanted. It's fine. He had, fire a guy and owe him $30 million. But,
what did he have? Inklings of a plan, or what?
Well, he knew he wanted. He knew who he wanted. It just so happens that he wasn't going to be allowed to get him, because he wanted somebody that was, I don't know, already under contract. But what are you?
Well, I mean, nothing's a done deal yet, right? So
no, I know. So I mean, look. There's a lot of people that are assuming that there's a little bit of tampering going on anyway, and they're meeting, for lunch and. Hey, how's it going, Jim? Oh, pretty good.
Yeah. Can you get a message to our mutual friend?
Yeah, really.
Who, slip a little piece of paper there under the table. Although it doesn't. I mean, the NBA is the worst about that. They're, we're all waiting for midnight for the trades to officially be allowed, right? But those deals have been done, some of them for days.
Well, look at last year with Saquon, right? I mean, that deal was done in 30 minutes. Yeah, no,
yeah, sure
it was. Well,
the clock struck midnight, and somebody said, "I wonder if we should trade Saquon." Yeah, I guess so, maybe.
Giants got a compensatory third round pick for it, and that compensatory third round pick wound up going as part of a package so they can get Jackson Dart. So I guess all in all, so
all right,
what it is.
More so there we go.
Football
congratulations
season,
to OKC.
Congratulations to OKC.
It's exciting for them, and maybe it'll pump up basketball interest in the Midwest. Who knows?
Maybe the draft is going on as we speak. As expected, Cooper Flagg, number 1. Dylan Harper out of Rutgers, head scratcher, number 2 to the Spurs. VJ Edgecombe from Baylor.
Guard from Baylor.
Went to the Sixers. And Con Nupel, another Dookie, went to the Hornets. So
Con Nipple?
Con Nupel.
Yeah,
right.
So it's a new nipple. It's Nupel. Yeah, it's Nupel or Canoopel.
Is it Canoopel?
I think it's Canoopel.
Canoopel.
I think it's.
See, now that's the name. Canoopel. Whether it is or it isn't, it is.
Canoopel.
Canoopel, though, is somebody that should have played with a really bad mustache in the early 80s alongside Kiki Vandeweghe. You know, the backcourt of Vandeweghe and Canoopel.
Kiki and Khan.
Kiki Khan.
Yeah.
You going to Kiki Khan? Yeah, let's go to Kiki Khan. Yeah.
Add a K in there.
All right.
No.
Listen, now we'll
He's from Duke.
He's from Dukel. Con Canoopel's from Dukel.
From Dukel. From Dookie.
Dukel.
Con Canoopel from Dukel.
Hi, I'm Con Canoopel from
we're sorry. We're sorry, kid. We're sorry making fun of your name, but we've all been there.
Yeah, no. Yeah. All right, that's basketball.
There we go.
Basketball.
And
congratulations,
the Canadians,
Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hockey wise, congratulations, Florida. That's all they need to be said about that.
I mean, let's give a little credit where credit's due. This organization knows, they know what they're doing.
Yeah, unfortunately,
they're deep, and it just felt like anytime anything got close, they just were able to score 3 goals in 6 minutes.
Yeah,
it's true. It's very true.
I also think,
and a little bit more steady goaltending. I mean, I think the wheels fell off for Edmonton.
They did.
Well, and I think that another thing that we probably see maybe more often than we realize, when you're coming back from way down, and we talked about Edmonton's ability to come back in games, and obviously it translates to coming back in series. Like, there's a lot of times, Game 6. Everything is right, left. It's a cliche. Left on the field, left on the ice, left on the court. And, it takes everything out of a team. And you go, well, just get up. It's Game 7. You got there. It's an incredible thing. It can be very difficult, especially against a team like Florida that can apparently flip a switch whenever they really need to and just destroy you. So, unfortunately, I don't know what. Do we just hate Florida because it's warm and it shouldn't be a hockey town? Or maybe, is it even a hockey town?
No.
Like how many, I wonder what the attendance was for the...
they have pretty good attendance.
Because I know, what did I see the other day? I didn't see percentages, but Stanley Cup Finals ratings were lower than that of the 4 nations face-off during the regular season.
Oh, yeah.
So less people were excited for Edmonton and Florida.
Unless people are excited, it's always down. It's always down. Here's the problem, is that there's not a lot of... By the time I find what channel it's on, it's the middle of the third period. Yeah. It's
well,
I don't know.
If you don't
hockey, I think hockey in this country it's got a cap on it, and it's always going to be number 4. If they're lucky, they're going to stay number 4. But it was a good series. It was a good playoffs in hockey this year.
You're right. It was.
Yeah. Certainly the second half were, I think we were talking about that a couple shows ago. Oh no, it was in basketball, how we had a lot of couple sweeps and a lot of 4-1s and stuff like that. But hockey always, I think it was overtime games were a little bit less through the earlier part of the playoffs than usual, but
yeah, they were.
I think it kind of ramped up once you got into the last couple of rounds. So congratulations, Florida.
There you go.
Congratulations, you guys, for you both picked OKC. I picked Indiana, and you both picked Florida, and I picked Edmonton. So 0 for 2.
0 for 2. On the note of my jinx before, DeGrom came out in the bottom of the 8th and gave up a hit.
All right.
There we go. Good job.
He's out of the game, and Webb is in pitching now for the Rangers.
So now he's gonna come back to the Mets.
Now he's gonna come back to the Mets. Yeah.
So, trivia question for you guys.
Sure.
The random trivia.
NHL home attendance. 41 home games this team had. 41 sellout crowds. Who is the team?
The Avalanche.
Toronto Maple Leafs.
Nope. The Montreal Canadiens.
I was closer.
You were geographically.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Had the right country at least.
Yeah. Average attendance. I'll give you the top 10 here. The Canadiens, followed by fairly significant, about 2,000 more fans per game. Detroit and Chicago, Tampa Bay and Florida, all pretty close. Columbus, Toronto, Vancouver, Carolina, and the Flyers.
So the Florida teams were both in the top 5?
Yep.
Home attendance.
Yep.
Boy,
with Montreal and Toronto and Vancouver rounding it out with the Blackhawks in there, which is great. New York Rangers way down there, 17,000 a game. Boston Bruins even below them. The Kraken, the Devils only 16,000. Islanders 15,000.
Where's Vegas?
Vegas is let's see here.
300.
17, almost 18K a game, right? Kind of in the top 15, but yeah, right around the same, a little bit lower than the Avalanche, but top team by 3,000. That's your Montreal Canadiens.
41 home games, 41 sellouts. There you go.
21,000 though as a sellout. So aren't most stadiums closer to basketball stadiums closer to 30? 28, 30.
Well, that's the Barclays Center, right? I think is somewhere between like 18 and 22 or something. Get their third win, and last night they beat Atlanta.
They beat UConn?
Yeah, they beat UConn.
They beat the Warriors and UConn.
And they beat the Atlanta Falcons. So they took out the Steph and the Warriors. They took out the Huskies, and they took out the Falcons. So they now have 4 wins along with Chicago there. So pretty good job. And I saw a comparison between Paige Beckers and Caitlin Clark as far as stats, and some of it was that kind of made up, first player to 200 points in less than 13 and a half games, or whatever it is. With half the games being played at night, they put some caveat in there so it try and make it seem relevant. But her numbers were, for the most part, it wasn't that, and they were pretty.
They're pretty similar.
They're pretty similar, absolutely.
Yep, they're both good players.
Yeah.
One of them though has tripled the attendance of the WNBA. The other one hasn't.
There you go. Yes, it's true. This just in: Utah Jazz just took Ace Frehley.
Ace Frehley.
Yeah.
Nice.
Right. What does he play these days? I think he's more of a small forward, right?
He's a guard and a small forward. Yeah.
Shooting guard, 2-3 kind of wing player.
No. Well, in all seriousness, Ace Bailey, the second player in the top 5 taken from Rutgers.
Yeah.
No. And we see how
a team that had a sub 500 record and could not make the NCAA tournament. And Bailey is a project. I think it's Bailey. I get him and the other, was it Harper mixed up, but I think it's Bailey who has Ben Simmons written all over him.
Yeah. All right, so let's continue on. Let's do a little NBA, sticking with our basketball theme. There's been a flurry of trade movement already. This is not all of it, but it's some of it. And we see the Celtics making a couple of trades. We were talking about this before, and the Rockets trading, getting Kevin Durant from the Suns and all that stuff. So what does all this mean? By the way, here's AI's interpretation up close of the trade activity.
Yeah, that's horrible.
In the NBA. So I love all the far too many executives standing around.
Executives are like,
they look like Agent Smith from the was it the third Matrix where there's
they're all exactly the same. White man. They all wear a black suit and they all look exactly the same.
Note how many white players are there on the court? 2.
2, yeah.
2, I think.
2, yeah.
And how many black executives are there? I believe 1, maybe one on the far side.
There's one on the far side, yeah.
So, AI is not biased at all. We know that.
Not at all.
AI is honest.
That brings me, yes, AI is honest. That brings me to the over-under. What we're going to do is we're going to take teams that were involved in the graphic I showed with the trade there. We're going to look at how many wins they had last year, and we're going to say over-under. Are they going to have the same number or more or less?
Fire away.
We'll start with the Celtics, who are a 61-win team last year. So the over-under is 60.5.
Under.
All right, Rockets, 52-win team, over under 51.5.
Under.
They got Kevin
Under.
Durant.
Under.
I'm going to say over because he'll probably get hurt. And they were really good. Suns, involved in a decent trade there. 36. Actually, you know what? Let me put the graphic back up. There we go. 36 wins last year, over under 35.5.
Over under 35.5. Over.
And Dylan Brooks and Jalen Green are not going to make.
Dylan Brooks, unless you want him to. But look at all the. Well, and second round, number 59.
I think in future years it'll bode well, but there's some.
Brother, Pete.
50.
No, not
either equal their wins
30,
or they're going to have.
35.
Sorry.
35.5. Yeah. The 6 games isn't. They could. A game or two more.
It's the West, baby.
Yeah. Well, they also have to play East teams, and the East is weaker, so hence the extra game or two.
So Harry, you going under?
I'm gonna go under.
All right. I think John's right. I'm gonna go over. All right. Next up is the Grizzlies, 48-win team. The over/under is 47.5. So it's basically, are they going to do as well or better or worse?
Who did the Grizzlies actually give up?
Jenkins.
Or did they just add?
They gave up
KCP
Desmond Bain.
Oh,
Yeah.
Bain's a pretty good player.
Pope is a decent player. Cole Anthony's okay. They also got the number 16 pick this year.
Yeah, that's not
and
gonna help
you know,
I think the Grizzlies. I think under.
Under. I'm gonna say under. Yeah.
I think so too. Yeah, Bain is a big loss for them. Now look, they may make other moves, but based on what we know so far. All right, Trailblazers, 36 wins, so the over/under is 35.5. They got Drew Holiday. Oh, and we outlasted the music.
We did.
Yeah, under. Next.
Trailblazers.
John?
Yeah, under.
I'm going to say over. Orlando, 41 wins, 40.5.
Under. No, over,
Yeah.
because they're in
Over.
East. Yeah, over.
I think
Over.
got Bain.
I think Orlando might be the most improved team this year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they were kind of on the cusp. Atlanta, 40-win team, so 39.5. They've got Porzingis now, but of course, and they get a second-round pick this year as well.
Yeah.
I don't know. Under.
Eh.
Oh, I think they're going to go over. They were really bad last year, but they're better than that. But I think they'll be over. And we'll see over under on how many games Porzingis plays. 25? Is that the over under?
It's 6.5. John, you
guess
going
so.
over under on this?
I'm going under.
Going under. All right. I'm gonna go over. Pacers, 50 wins, 49.5. I assume we're all going under.
Yeah.
Under.
And the Nets getting Terrence Mann and the 22nd pick.
Amy Mann? They got Amy Mann?
Yeah, maybe she'll sing the anthem.
Yeah.
I'm going to go over, of course. 'cause I'm a Nets fan.
Terrence Mann. He was in Field of Dreams, right?
He also played. Didn't he play for the Washington, formerly known as the Redskins?
He did. Yeah.
Actually, wasn't he Zod in the old Superman movie?
That too. Same guy. He's everywhere.
If that's the case,
If that's the case, then he's really old, and there's no chance he's going to help them at all.
Well, but he's got laser eyes and he can fly. You might want to take the over.
Well, James Earl Jones played Terrence Mann in Field of Dreams, so.
Oh yeah, that's true. The Nets don't realize they traded for the fictional Terrence Mann.
People will come, Ray.
I don't care. I just don't care.
All right, make a pick. Come on.
Under.
All right, that's.
I love that movie, by the way, and that line.
All right, so one other thing.
One other thing.
I'm going to go back here, and we're going to add. We did over under for home runs. with Aaron Judge, Pete Alonso, and Shohei Ohtani, and we averaged their last 3 years of home runs, and we said over, under, and all that. I'm going to add Cal Raleigh, to say he's going to go over.
Yeah, over. Why not?
The Big Dumper. That's his nickname.
Well,
I'm not kidding. That's his nickname.
Yeah, we know.
Speaking of that, Pete, I got to ask you a question while Harry thinks. How did you get a guy to sit on the one side of the H in the graphic in the background?
Oh, a lot of money.
All right, there you go.
Lot of money.
I'm gonna go under.
Gonna go under. All right.
I'm going under. Yeah.
John, you going over?
No, I'm over.
You know, yeah, I think I'm gonna go under because it's just. How
You think he's gonna break Judge's record?
No, I don't think so. I don't know if he can.
I'm asking John. John's.
Do I think he's going to break Judge's record? No, I don't think he's going to. But
more.
I said they're halfway through the season. He's there. He's halfway there. So he stays the same pace. He can do it.
Well, we know.
I think he's going to drop off a little bit. So
you never know. I just was like, you know what? I'm like, why not? Why not?
Be cool if he got two.
I threw caution to the wind and said yes.
Yeah, go over. Crazy. Well, it'd be nice if he got, or kind of cool if he got 262.
Well, nobody said that. Yeah.
Two guys at 62. So.
Yeah. Well,
I think that is it for over under.
There you go.
Over under out.
Over and under and out.
All right. So and that'll kind of lead us back to baseball.
Well, okay, we can do that. We have the hot takes tonight. Well, we can do a hot takes.
Oh, you do. Oh, yeah. Do you want to do hot takes?
Do them at the end.
Let's keep it moving, though. We're doing good.
Keep it moving.
I think we can get this done in under an hour.
I think we can.
All right. So baseball.
Yeah, baseball.
What do you want to say about baseball?
Baseball. It's May for the. Let's just put it this way. What the fuck happened to the Mets rotation and bullpen? Can they not be?
Can we just say that it's June, and in New York, it's let's shit the bed time.
Yeah, for both teams.
Mm-hmm. The Mets rotation, has dropped off. The Yankees starting pitching and pitching in general has been spectacular. Mm-hmm. They just can't score.
Right, they can't. Mets are winning. Mets are in the going into the seventh. They're up 6-1 right now.
Yeah, the Yankees and Mets are both up 6-1, I believe. Yeah,
there you
go. But this is about the time when starters' arms, Max Fried's arm gets tired, and in comes, 7 relievers that Boone uses, and 6 of them pitch scoreless innings, and then 1 inevitably gives up 3 runs and blows the game. But
if I see Brazoban come into another game, I'm going to throw my shoe at the TV.
I think I texted you guys the other day. Yesterday, maybe it was, or
yesterday.
Montes and Brazoban. Like, come on, man.
Well, Montes actually wasn't pitching bad.
No, he was pitching really well.
He had to go to. They had to go to the bullpen, and sure enough, they shit the bed again.
But
they just can't beat the friggin' Braves. Hopefully tonight. Well, the Braves have a 20-year-old rookie pitcher who's pitched 1 big league game so far in his career. So if the Mets couldn't win tonight's game, they're never going to win a game against the Braves.
Well, let me ask you this: do you think that? I mean, is it possible that all those pitchers were just pitching over their heads and they've now come back down to earth?
No, I think they're tired.
Or,
no, because here's the thing: they weren't getting the length out of the starters since game 1.
Both bullpens are being ridden like Seabiscuit.
Yeah, and the starting pitching wasn't, except for 1 or 2 situations, which you're going to get from time to time. For all intents and purposes, the starting pitching wasn't the problem. It's the bats going to sleep. And it's the bullpen being well overused.
Same thing. Yankees, Mets. Fill in the blank. Same team. Yeah. Same thing.
Yeah. And it's shame offensively because Soto's heating up, and where's everybody else?
Yeah. Here's one general statement I want to make. Mm-hmm. If you're a $27 million a year starting pitcher who doesn't have to pitch every 4 or 5 days anymore, now has to pitch 6 days. 7 days.
Yeah, I mean, it's still 5 days, on occasion 6.
No, it's not. Not with the Yankees rotation.
No, with the Mets rotation, it's every 5 days. Occasionally it's 6 when they don't have
If you are
5 or
pitching
6.
a shutout and you're at 88 pitches and you can't go fucking back out there for another inning, then I'm going to start taking away your salary.
Well, is it because you can't go back out there or because the manager's yanking you?
No, in this case, I'm talking about Carlos Rodon.
He took
himself out.
He took himself out. He was done. He said he felt himself getting tired. He was done.
Now, I appreciate that. However, you better change your conditioning.
Yeah, the honesty is kind of refreshing, but the lack of warrior spirit is. By the way, speaking of Warriors, I think Scherzer's making a start tonight after
for the Golden State Warriors.
No, but he's dedefinitely Max Scherzer's a Warrior, and he's back from injury. So
he is.
I don't expect him to be.
He's also like a senator. He just doesn't know when to quit.
Well,
and I'm not talking the team. I'm talking the old fucks in Congress.
You're not talking about the metropolitan senators of the 1912.
That's the professional title too.
Washington Senators.
That's their professional title too. Yeah. Old fucks. There you go.
Yeah.
Hey, you old fucks, come on over here.
The basketball team they were considering that when they went from the Bullets to the Wizards.
Washington old fucks.
How about the Washington old fucks?
Yeah.
It's accurate.
Swarmy,
but then the kids can't come to the games. We don't want to lose the kids.
Well, we could spell it like the logo can be F asterisk 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 S. And then the parents could say, "Oh, that means funds." The old funds.
All the little kids with the pumped up kicks. You better run to the Wizards.
I don't know. What else do we need to say about baseball?
Nothing.
It's the end of June. We're heading into the heat, and
next show will be close to the All-Star break. We could talk.
I will say this:
state of the we could do our breakdowns then, mid-season breakdowns. Even though tonight is actually mid-season because everybody's like at 81 games.
Some of the teams that I originally thought were going to be there, starting to make a little bit of a move.
Yeah,
Cincinnati Reds, Houston Astros. Some of the teams are coming back down to earth after a hot start. And
New York blank, insert name.
Yeah.
The New York boats.
Well, let me I do have one or two things here. Alvarez obviously sent down to Syracuse.
Yep.
I did hear one of the pros talking the other day, and he goes, because of the injury, he got hurt in March, and he didn't really have the full spring training, and it's kind of coming back and maybe hurting him now. So give him a few weeks.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I don't think that's a bad take. I mean, certainly, I hope he comes back. The thing I want to ask you guys about
Sanger just is like it's just filler at this point, and Torres isn't hitting anymore. He was hitting at the beginning of the season. He's not doing anything now.
Yeah.
So. But, I mean, then again, Alvarez wasn't either. So we're not getting anything. The Mets aren't getting anything out of the catcher.
And that's a position you don't usually get anything. But it was a nice bonus to have at least a kid that you thought, even if you didn't think he was going to tear it up offensively. But now I think they're seeing it's affecting his defense, too.
It is affecting his defense.
And they're like, oh, he's thinking too much about hitting. So give him a couple, send him down to beat up on the AAAs. Hopefully that's what happens. Anyway, what I wanted to ask you about the other day, PTI, Wilbon, and it was Frank Isola was filling in for Tony Kornheiser, and they were talking about, I guess, Sammy Sosa returned to Wrigley Field for the first time in like 20 years.
Did he know it? Did he know it?
It was intentional, apparently.
Oh,
it was
okay.
intentional.
He was aware of it.
Yeah, and the Cubs were aware of it, so they actually had like a little ceremony thing. I don't know if he ran the bases or he was on the whatever it was, but it was celebrated, and he was, they buried the hatchet and all that, right? Because it was really a bad thing the way he left and all that. So Wilbon, of course, is a Chicago native and lover of the Cubs, and he was talking about Sammy Sosa being an icon, obviously, and whatever year it was, 94 with the home run chase with McGuire,
98.
98, whatever it was, bringing baseball back from the brink of extinction and this and that. And so he rattled off a number of Cubs greats like Ernie Banks and somebody else and Sammy Sosa, and said he's had
Ryne Sandberg.
He didn't mention Rhino, and he didn't mention Mark Grace. And Isola kind of called him out on it. He said, how do you not mention those guys? So I wanted to throw that to you, and I think we can do it in a little something that we call
What is real?
What is real? How do you define real? If you're talking about what you can feel, what you can smell, what you can taste and see, then real is simply electrical signals interpreted by your brain.
Pretty sure none of that's real.
You're not real.
For real, for real, for real. Yeah.
What is real?
All right. What is real? Are they for real? Whatever the stupid segment's called. So I wanted to ask you, in your opinion, let's do these one for one. Who's more of a Cubs icon, Ernie Banks or Sammy Sosa?
Ernie Banks.
Ernie Banks. Ryne Sandberg or Sammy Sosa?
Ryne Sandberg.
I
I was going to say Ernie Banks.
You know what? Sammy Sosa was incredibly popular, and he was more of a household name than Ryne Sandberg ever was.
They're a lot closer than Ernie Banks and Sammy Sosa, but I still say Ryne Sandberg. But I mean,
I'm going to say Sosa. If you ask anybody under the age of 40, if they know who Sammy Sosa was, and if they know who Ryne Sandberg, 80% are going to know Sosa. Only about 20% are going to know Ryne Sandberg.
Does that make him more?
Yes, because I think time does change things.
Well, then ask those same people, Ernie Banks or Sammy Sosa. They're going to tell you Sammy Sosa too.
I think Ernie Banks is more talked about and more legendary, much like DiMaggio. It's like saying DiMaggio and Mantle versus
So you're gonna give Ryne
Greg
Sandberg,
Nettles.
like Greg Nettles.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, different eras.
Just got to go with the Yankee analogy. There you go. So,
Yeah.
There we go. All right, so Mark Grace and Sammy Sosa.
Sammy Sosa.
Sammy Sosa.
Yeah, I think I agree. I think we're all on the same page there.
Yeah, just like if you went in order, I think of Ernie Banks, well above Sammy Sosa, and
right.
star power. Ryne Sandberg, kind of the same level. Mark Grace below that.
Yeah, I think that's fair. All right, so let's finish up probably baseball, and are they for real, with the MVP race. And you give me your 1, 2, 3 rankings for the American League MVP. We got Judge. I'm going to put Cal Raleigh in there, and we'll put Bobby Witt in there.
Judge,
Jr.,
Witt,
that is.
Judge, Witt, Calirari.
Judge 1, Witt 2.
Yep.
Raleigh 3. All right, Harry.
I think it's Judge, Raleigh, and then Witt. And I'll be honest with you. I think right on Witt's tail is, I know he's a pitcher, but I think Tarek Skubal is up there.
Skubal, yeah. He's kind of the number 4 favorite. All right. I'm going to put Raleigh first. And this is kind of assuming that they, sort of continue to do what they do or close to what they do. Nobody falls off the table here. I'm going to put him first because he's a catcher. And getting that kind of production out of a catcher, I mean, this guy who's doing stuff that nobody's done or whatever. And he was the, I didn't even know this existed. Did you guys know there was a Platinum Glove Award?
Mm-hmm.
That's for the best defensive player in all the game. And he was last year's Platinum Glove Award winner.
Look at that.
So I think the catcher thing, if he keeps it up, is going to sway people. So I'm going to put him 1, Judge is 2, Bobby Witt Jr. is 3.
There you go.
Let's go to the National League. Ohtani, Pete Crow Armstrong. I'll be a little bit of a homer here and say Juan Soto. Rank
you think
him.
Juan Soto right now is in the conversation for NL MVP?
would put Lindor before I put Soto right now.
I mean, I think you got
kinda-
Freddie Freeman, Fernando Tatis,
I
Gabriel
think-
Marte. I mean,
Well,
I
this is Pete's list. This is Pete's list.
Oh,
right?
okay,
So-
sorry.
No, listen. I looked at the odds makers or whatever, and Soto was not in the third place spot. I think he was in the fifth place spot or maybe the fourth place spot. So he's not that far out. And I looked at some of the names and some of the stats, and he's not way off.
No, he's not. He's
If
come
he
on
has
as of late.
if he has another 3 weeks or a month like he's had the last, then he's going to be right there.
You got to remember with Judge. Listen to me. You got to remember with Soto, and with Judge too, but Soto more so. His stats aren't like what you think, because now was he in the beginning of the season, was he hitting as much as he hit? And now no, he wasn't. But
No.
he was walking a hell of a lot, like he always does. So, that's eating into his average. That's eating into his stats. And, feeding some other levels of it. So,
that sounds like such a Mets fan justification.
well, it's true though.
I mean,
No, I would put like if Pete hasn't had the June that he's had,
right?
I put him above Ohtani right now.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. How about
see that?
Talking about catchers? How about Will Smith hitting 330 with 42, RBIs?
I'm just so done with the Dodgers.
nice
I'm just talking about how about Jacob Wilson on the A's hitting 353 with 40 RBIs?
Fine.
No.
How about
Fine.
Jeremy Pena on Houston? How about
Well,
Jose
I mean,
Ramirez?
you can hit pretty well in a minor league stadium, So
Well, that's the other teams.
Just
other guys
saying.
hit there too.
I'm just going with what the odds makers consensus
I don't know.
is here.
I think that they're taking a lot of that from the preseason.
Yeah.
I think it's changed dramatically. I think Freddie Freeman's got to be, and Jose Ramirez in the American League, I think has to be in the conversation. But whatever.
No, I'm giving you the top three in the Vegas odds. So
yeah. Cal
so
Raleigh's
I'm-
definitely I agree with. Look, what's his name on who's the left fielder for the Cubs? Suzuki. And Alonso's dropped off, but what does Alonso have? Doesn't Alonso still have 65 RBIs? He's got more RBIs, I think, than Judge.
Still does. Yeah.
Rafael Devers, with all the criticism, is still producing. So I don't know. There's a lot of I think there's a long way to go. I think this is going to be a hard year. I think this is going to be a hard year for MVPs. Although, Ohtani's going to get the love that he always gets, especially now.
Well, but I think what you just said,
he's pitched 3 innings of baseball.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, well,
you
then
just
just
said
give
there's
him
a
the
long
award
way
now.
to go. You just said there's a long way to go, and I think that is part of what they're looking at when they do these things.
Yeah.
They go, yes, Pete Alonso has 65 RBIs, but is he going to do that for the whole season?
Yeah, and I mean, if you're talking about walks, I mean, Judge has 53 walks. I mean, it's there's so many stats you can look at, but the eye test certainly tells you what's going on.
Well, I'm ranking them Ohtani, Armstrong, and Soto.
I just can't. Ohtani can come in and hit 1 home run and pitch 2 innings, and they're talking about giving him the.
I'm going Armstrong first.
I'm going to say right now of those choices, I'll say Armstrong first,
and
then Ohtani, then Soto.
I'm not even going to mention.
Well, of those 3, it doesn't matter where they fall, right? It just with those 3 in order. Not that they're 1, 2, and 3. It could be 1, 6, and 12. Right.
So, I got Armstrong, then Ohtani, then Soto.
Yeah, me too.
All right. I think that's
it. And what team drafted Pete Crow Armstrong? Who was that?
Yeah, the Mets did. And
why is he on the Cubs? Oh yeah, because the Mets needed Javi Baez. What a fucking joke that was.
Yeah, that was not a good move.
No.
I really put Soto on the list to hoping Johnny had a cocktail or two, and he got a little homer. He got a little homer. Soto could win it.
You were thinking I was going to go there, huh?
I was like, Casey. I mean, I added him as a bit of homerism, but Anyway, that's it for Are They For Real? I think all my lists are filled out. So.
All right, are we done?
And then we got hot takes.
I do have something else. Where are we at here? We're at 1:06.
1 minute. We've been only going for 1 minute.
1:06 and 1,000 of it. So, I don't know. Everybody has been. I don't know. Do we have anything else? We really? Oh, we
I don't.
Hot takes.
I don't.
Hot takes. We got hot takes.
We got hot takes. We got any quickies or just hot takes?
Just hot takes.
All right.
Hot takes.
There you go. Was that the pancakes actually talking?
Mm-hmm.
I think it was.
I think it was. There you go. All right, we got basketball.
The announcer.
They killed the announcer.
We killed the
got
announcer.
basketball hot takes tonight. All right, here we go. 6 of them like we did last week. Here we go. Some discussion points if you want, but let's just put it down. Here we go. All right, starting off with the first one. I'll put it out there. You two answer them as you will. There you go.
Okay.
So how's that? 2000 Knicks or 2025 Knicks? Both lost in the conference.
What was the 2000 Knicks?
They lost to.
I know, but who was on the team? I don't remember. 2000.
Spring
Carmelo?
and Carmelo.
99, 2000. Yeah.
No, the 2000. Nothing. Yeah, the 2000.
The team that went to the NBA Finals.
No, the team that lost to the Pacers in the conference championship.
2025. Let's just see.
All right. Fair enough. Pete.
2025. I agree.
There you go. All right. There you go. All right. 20. I had to do a Nets one. Okay. So 2003 Nets or 1976 Nets?
I'm going to say 1976 just because I don't really care. Was Pasha Stojakovic on either of those teams?
He was not on either of those teams, unfortunately.
Well, one team won the ABA championship. The other
pretty good team, that 76 team.
The other team lost the.
When you have Dr. J, I think you have to sort of.
Yeah, you kind of have to.
And Artis Gilmore, right? Wasn't it Dr. J and Artis Gilmore? Was Artis Gilmore on that team or not?
I think 2 years earlier, the 74 championship.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'll take 76.
76. All right, cool. Barclays Center or the Teaneck Armory?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll take the Teaneck Armory just because I've never been there.
Yeah, Teaneck Armory. That fits the Nets better than any sort.
There you go.
Teaneck.
The Barclays Center is
there's
some very nice things about it, but there's some really bad seats there for like
there really
exist. Somebody should have realized.
I've sat a couple of them.
Actually, there's no bad seats at the Armory because there were no seats.
Standing room only.
Stood there and watched.
Just bleachers. First come, first serve.
There you go. All right, moving on. 2025 Thunder or 1979 Sonics?
79 Sonics.
Yeah, Sonics.
There you go. 2025 Pacers or 2000 Pacers?
2000 Pacers.
Yeah,
the team, both Pacers teams that lost in the finals, obviously.
Yeah.
2000. Yeah, agreed. We're all in agreement.
And also,
but
I'm a little turned on.
I will just, and it just, the more I watched it, the more I was like, man, she is wrecking that woman. And I tend to describe it as, in the words of Jim Halpern, she definitely gave her a full desadulation.
Yeah, she did. And based on those, that play and some of the other bullshit that Caitlin Clark has been dealing with continuously, the Indiana Fever have officially signed Gertrude Schlaghammer.
Yeah,
there you go.
Mm-hmm.
The enforcer, Gertrude Schlaghammer.
Somehow that looks like a combination of what was the actor who played the goon in the hockey film, and then the broad from Dodgeball, Dodgeball.
The German girl from Dodgeball. Yeah.
And something Scott, three first names Scott, or
Michael Scott,
Uncle Anthony Hall Scott Phillips.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, her official position is forward/goon.
Mhm.
Forward.
Not forward center, not forward guard.
Her position is defense.
The leveler.
She's
What
just,
is she number
she's
3
just
or
listed
number
as
4?
defense.
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 How many points did she score this year so far? None.
It's like Mark Eaton should have just what was his position? Defense.
Yeah. How many rebounds? None. How many assists? None.
Yeah.
How many knockouts?
Defense.
7.
17.
She'll get a few rebounds. I mean,
She hasn't lost a
in
fight
the
yet.
WNBA, rebounds just sort of hit you in the face. It's just
All right. So that's all I got. Anybody? Anything else? We're good.
No,
we're good. I'm good.
All right.
good.
So is it? How's the weather in Colorado there?
It's not bad today. It was been hot though. We had a couple days that reached 100.
Yeah.
Before that, we had a bunch of rain, and
So do we.
Probably around mid 80s now, so it's not too bad.
It's almost as if the weather came from the west.
Almost. Imagine that.
how that happens.
Well, it's funny because our not funny, but our central air went out.
Much like the NBA champs, they come from
Friday.
the west, baby.
So we went and got some air conditioners from my sister-in-law. She had in her basement, and put them in. And then we got.
You kept your sister-in-law in the basement or the air conditioners?
She had the air conditioners trapped in the basement, so they were old ones, but they all.
The way you phrase that,
there's times I wouldn't mind throwing it into the basement, but for the most part, we get along fine.
We let her out for the summer now. She's been in the basement since fall.
Yeah. We put her. Actually, it was nice. It was nice and cool down there.
We found the air conditioners and we decided to let her out as well.
Oh, you're still here? Come on now.
So we ordered one for my son's bedroom, and of course it was supposed to come Tuesday, and it didn't come today, and of course tomorrow the heat wave's going to break. So
it's
we were
gonna
having
be a balmy 85.
I have a feeling
you'll
need them again.
That's. But he's been sleeping on the couch downstairs for the last couple of nights, just because it's a unit down there a little bit cooler. But
there you go.
Whatever. I threatened him. I said, if you don't empty the dishwasher and take the garbage out, I'll send the air conditioner back. I won't open it. I'll just return it. So we'll find out if that happens in a few minutes. So
Good
anyway,
luck.
stay cool if it's out where you are.
Yes, stay cool.
Stay cool, Pony Boy.
There you go. That's stay gold, but we get it.
Same thing.
Same thing.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you all for watching. For those of you listening to the audio podcast, a passel of thanks for listening. You're all really swell. Visit our website at www.getonwithitpodcast.com. Once again, that's getonwithitpodcast.com. Like us and follow us on all our social media. Go to Instagram, Facebook, and X.